This morning, I'm in transit. We're going to talk about Old Montreal set to become, quote, a pedestrian kingdom. To tell us more, happy to be joined by Sophie Mauzerolle. She is a Montreal City Councillor for Ville-Marie and a member of the Executive Committee of the City of Montreal, responsible for transportation and mobility. Madame Mauzerolle, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So first, I got to ask you, as an elected official, I was in politics, I was elected. When there's a big scandal that rocks an administration, it affects everybody. How has the last week affected you and the way you conduct business as a City of Montreal elected official?
Well, when there's some kind of crisis, we have to, have a cold feet and make sure that everything works well. And there was a post-mortem that has led to 2 suspensions. There's an internal investigation, and right now the priority is to put the terrace back on its place. And for the rest, we're going forward with other projects. For instance, the pedestrian priority zone. We also announced the plan d'urbanisme and mobilité, the 2050 plan d'urbanisme yesterday. So, we're dealing with the emergencies, but also continuing to lead all the dossiers that we have to lead as elected officials.
All right, moving on to Old Montreal. Now, you want to create some pedestrian-friendly zones. I understand this is around Place d'Armes and Place Jacques-Cartier, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So what we want is to make sure that pedestrians are at the heart of the Old Montreal Historic District experience. It's already the case. There's a lot of locals, a lot of tourists going around the streets, principally in the summer, but also in other seasons. So what we want is to make it more attractive and safer for tourists, for locals to move around, to be able to enjoy their surroundings. And we're doing this by limiting through traffic. So what we want is for the Old Montreal to be a destination, not a shortcut. And we're gonna start by putting in place different measures, starting implementing this summer. So as you were saying, in front of the Place d'Armes, we're going to transform the streets into a pedestrian section just in front of the Notre Dame Basilica. Mm-hmm. We're also going to pedestrianize Place Jacques-Cartier and Saint-Paul all year long. For now, it's a summer pedestrian project, so it's going to be all year round now. And we're also going to change the configuration of the Rue de la Commune, where we're going to put the bike lane in the streets, because there was a lot of conflict between pedestrian and cyclists, and it's really a cycling road that is being used for tourists, but also for people that are commuting. It's 10,000 people a day that is taking this cycling road. So there was a lot of issues. So we're going to put the bicycle lane in the streets to secure the moving around of everybody.
So I followed this file closely because I'm a resident of Old Montreal. I understand there was a poll and there were some consultations. And merchants and residents, when polled, I believe the number was 54% were against this. What's your response to that?
Well, actually, we've been working with the merchants, but also the citizens associations for a year now. There's been a lot of meetings. We have put in place a comité de concertation, which have more than 20 groups around the table, and we've been working with them closely. And what we're seeing is that there are more and more adhesion to the project. It's, of course, as when we're changing things, you need to accompany people in the change, and we need to make sure that we take their preoccupation into consideration. For instance, merchant had some preoccupation regarding deliveries and such. So what we did in the last year, it's been a year that we've been talking with everybody that is involved, is to take those preoccupations into consideration and find solution, and also to deploy by phase. So right now we're starting this summer, but we're doing it as to be able to monitor the situation and to adjust ourselves if needed.
It's difficult to reconcile this. If you add what went out with Camille Hood, Projet Montréal does public consultations. The people speak, they go, they're polled, and they say, well, we're against this. And yet you seemingly ignore what the will of the people is. So why consult in the first place if you're not going to listen to them?
Well, the consultation you're talking about is not a consultation that has been made by the city. So, it was something that was partial, and it was a moment in time. So the consultation is also a way to hear what are the preoccupation and find solutions to them. It's not the first time that we're putting the pedestrians at the center of an old historic district. We've seen this in many other cities in the world. We've seen pedestrian priority zone being put in place, and of course, as every change in the city in the habits of people, it needs to come with a lot of discussion, way to explain what we're doing, strategy to adjust. So these are all things that we're going to be doing in the next month. But there were also 70 people in the survey that said that their favorite way of going around in the district was by walking, and we're not changing. It's still going to be possible to go to the old port in car, in public transit, by walking. What we want is to cut the traffic transit. We're seeing, for instance, people going to the La Commune to take the Pont Victoria, for instance, to go on the South Shore. So these are not people that their destination is the old port, but these are people that just going through the neighborhood, and this is something that we don't want. And we've been hearing it a lot from citizens too. We have received a lot of complaints regarding this. So it's really something that, the vision is consensual. The way we're doing it is going to need some adjustment, but we're going to be there to do it.
When you talk about, I get what you're talking about the Victoria Bridge, and it is a problem for sure. But there is a lot of traffic with regards to the La Commune for the Cirque du Soleil and for all the activities in the old port, to a point where you have to pay extra for police officers to manage traffic on Saturday nights, for example. It's really hard, and you have the big tour buses and a lot of cars. So how do you factor that? Because not everybody that's going to come to the Cirque du Soleil is going to come, by bus or metro or walking.
Of course not.
It's already a big problem, so I'm figuring maybe this is going to make it worse.
Well, no, because we did our homework, and we've been talking with the Société du Vieux-Port, we've been talking with the tourist bus, we've been talking with the STM, we've been talking with emergency vehicles, and what we really wanted, as I was saying, was to limit the through traffic. So people that are not destined to the old port but are going through the neighborhood. So there's still going to be access to those parking lots, and we're going to make sure that everybody can get to those events that we like. We love the summer in Montreal. We want people to participate in those events. So it's still going to be possible to go around for those events. As I was saying, what we want is to put the cars that are using the Old Montreal as a shortcut on the arteries that they are destined to. And it's really interesting because, as I was saying, merchants have some preoccupation, and it's normal, and we have to address them. But we also heard merchants saying, we know that our clientele is going to be happy because right now there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of traffic. It's really hard for people to get to the water when they're crossing the La Commune because there's too much things going on. So we heard merchants on the La Commune that said they were actually optimistic that the experience for their clientele would be improved by those measures.
All right. That's all the time I have. I really appreciate you coming on this morning, Madame Mauzerolle.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Sophie Mauzerolle is a city councillor for the Ville-Marie district and a member of the executive committee responsible for transport and mobility.